side now, so this side is turned off. So I'm going to turn this one, just press down like that, turn it all the way around the backwash on this side.
Okay.
Then I'm going to take this valve and flip it over.
What is that?
This is the filter for the
pond.
For the pond.
So now we're backwashing this side.
Okay.
Basically what we're doing now, and this side is shut off. So then I'm going to turn this side. It's going to go over to rinse because that's our next. What we're going to be doing is rinsing next.
Okay.
I almost always walk out and watch it just because I want to, minimize the amount of water I run through there. We don't have to necessarily do that right now,
okay.
But it usually takes 3-4 minutes, and then it's done its thing.
Okay.
How often do you do that?
Once a week.
So once a week. So just wrote down once a week.
Again, if you're running
the pond.
If you're running the pond 24 hours a day, which is what I've always done, but you don't necessarily have to. You could run it 12 hours a day or whatever. By the way, I turn the pond off in the wintertime. I'll turn it off in about the time I stop feeding the fish, which is between November 1st and December 1st. And then I won't typically start it back up until I start feeding the fish again. So it's off for the 4 months during the wintertime. I just let everything just sits out here.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is probably just about done.
Shall I go take a look?
Oh, that's okay.
All right.
It's not critical. I'm going to say it's done. Okay, so then we're going to flip it again. We're back over to rinse on this side.
Okay.
Now the water's flowing through that side. We're going to move this one to rinse.
So the tail of the valve is where
Right.
it's off that way.
Exactly.
Don't do this.
Right.
And then when it's down, vertical, it's going through both systems.
Right. Yeah, exactly. When it's straight up.
Okay.
Right. So that rinse only takes about, I count to 10 typically.
Okay.
And so it doesn't take long to rinse it.
And
And
you
then I
go
come
rinse
back
to
over
the other
here.
side.
So now we're rinsing this side.
And then this one goes.
This one goes back to filter. Perfect. There we go. And you just kind of be sure it's in there.
Yeah, into the detent.
Yeah. And then, like I say, I'll count to about 10, and then this side's done.
Okay. Now, this first or this?
This always has to be first, yeah,
Okay.
because the water is running through here.
Okay, so back to both.
So all the way, because we have to. Anytime you move the valve, you got to be sure there's no water running through it. Over here. There we go. Then you take this, and I'll typically go like this, back and forth a few times, just for fun. And then I check it and see, and look at that, we're on 8. So that's exactly where you want to be there. And assuming you've done both of them the same way, I never pay any attention to this one. It always registers higher for some reason. I don't know why. If you ever want to cut your pressure down for any reason, which I used to do, you can bring your pressure down here if you want. You just slowly turn this, and you'll see the pressure comes down here. It puts more back pressure on your pump here, reduces the amount of water going through the... And so that, again, there's really not any need for that. For the most part.
Okay.
I put that in and I almost never use it. Now, about every 2 to 3 times a year or a summer, I'll clean the filters.
Yeah.
And that was backwashing. Cleaning it involves opening these things up and let me see, I'm just trying to think how into this do we want to get right now.
2 or 3 times a summer.
Twice, call it twice a summer. That'd probably be enough. What'll happen is you'll start noticing if you're cleaning, backwashing this once a week, you'll start noticing, say, 6 or 8 weeks from right now,
How about it?
or something like that. All of a sudden, you'll see, instead of it being at 12, the pressure will be up at 14 or 15 or 16. And as the pressure starts going up, then it's time to clean the inside of the filter.
Okay.
So what I'll typically do is, and again, this is something that can be done while it's running like this. So let's just say we want to clean this one. Okay, and you just do the same thing for this one. It's just the opposite. So we're going to turn it off. Okay. Now all the water is flowing through this filter. Then I would do this. I would turn this to backwash, and then I would open this up like this,
okay.
And it just comes right off, spins right off there. Then you're. Let's see, now I'm backwash. That's right, yeah. And then what I would do is go ahead and get in there, and you have to agitate the sand, basically. And what I did is I have this little, it's like a little garden tool. It's like a little trowel almost. And I just go in there and just go all the way around the bottom, around it, and just stir it up.
How deep into it?
I get in there about like this.
Okay.
Arm's
length depth.
Yeah, it takes maybe 10 to 15 minutes for each one of these. And again, you can have Jean-Pierre do this if you want to.
Okay.
So what I would do is, okay, so I've opened that up. I've troweled around inside there. If it's sitting on backwash, the water is not only flowing out of the top here, which will just flow down into here, but it's also flowing into the creek.
Okay.
Then we're all done. We put the top back on, And then we just run through a rinse cycle, you know, a cleaning cycle like I did before. Then we go do the other side. Whoops, I want to do that. Put it back in the filter, yeah. And then we go back up here.
Okay.
So, and again, you know, if